Well, hey, everybody, and welcome to Dallas, Texas. This is the Buckeye Report, part of our coverage, Buckeyes Now, on the SI Media Group with Fan Nation. Brendan Gulick, and we are just about 24 hours away from the Cotton Bowl. The Missouri Tigers, the Ohio State Buckeyes are just about ready with their final preparations. Both teams will have one more practice today, but most of the pomp and circumstance of the week leading up to the bowl game is behind us, including the press conference that we just wrapped up, where Eli Drinkwitz and Ryan Day had a chance to visit with the media. And I'll tell you what, it was actually kind of a lot of fun. These particular press conferences don't usually bring forth any great revelations of new information. But it's pretty clear these two coaches like each other. And back when Ohio State was invited to play in this game a few weeks ago, he had referenced the fact that he knows Coach Drinkwitz, just two young guys when they were kind of coming up through the ranks in the coaching circles, had crossed paths and had some mutual respect, and genuinely got the impression that they enjoyed their time together in front of the camera. And it seems like they're, certainly colleagues when there's no cameras rolling either. So it was fun because there seemed to be some good-natured fun between those two guys, and that isn't always the case. So that part was cool. In terms of what we learned from that press conference, we probably aren't going to find out whether or not Marvin Harrison Jr. and Tommy Eichenberg and a few others are playing in this game until they take the field. I'm hard-pressed to believe that Marvin Harrison Jr. is going to play, given that he has not been seen in pads here this week at practice. But Ryan Day made it pretty clear he doesn't want to be the one to put that stuff out there publicly. He said, look, when guys decide not to play in games, that's a personal decision that they make and their families make, and he doesn't feel it's his place to go out there and be the one to put it out on blast. So he chooses to kind of keep quiet about that, and that's fine. Certainly understand that, but it doesn't answer the question that everybody around Buckeye Nation wants to know, and that is whether or not Marvin is going to be on the field on Saturday. That said, it certainly seems like just about everybody is going to play in this game. There really haven't been very many, public opt-outs. And so that part's cool, right? Because if you're an Ohio State fan, you want to see your team out there at full strength, and certainly that includes the guys that are coming as much as it is the guys that got you to this point this year. And we've heard several players talk about the pride with trying to finish the season that they started. I know that gets lost a lot in this college football playoff or bust era, but it's nice to know that there are those kinds of guys, whether they're juniors or seniors, that want to go out and play in this game. Thought it was pretty cool that Coach Drinkwitz pointed out that every year that Ryan Day has been the head coach at Ohio State, they have at least played in a New Year's Six game. And obviously that includes a couple of trips to the playoff. And he said that's probably the most impressive thing I've ever heard out of a head coach. There is a ton of respect for the Buckeyes from Missouri's perspective, and they've got a really good team. And he said Ohio State is built like an SEC team from top to bottom on their roster. He goes from the line of scrimmage, they're built like an SEC team. They'll get in your face defensively, just like we see in the SEC. They are physical. They're fast. They've got athletic playmakers all over the field, and trying to scout that team is a nightmare. I'm paraphrasing a little bit, but those were essentially his words when talking about this Buckeye team, and he knows he's got a big challenge coming up tomorrow night. Ryan Day is looking forward to being here. I think, the disappointment of not making the college football playoff by this point has probably surpassed or at least softened a little bit. And you just try to take opportunities that are in front of you and go make the most of them. And this can be something that his program can build on. The Buckeyes have enjoyed some first-class hospitality this week for sure, and they're looking forward to a chance to play here in truly one of the great cathedrals in all of football in the United States, and frankly, maybe the greatest stadium in the country. The only other thing that I really took away from the press conference, both coaches were asked some questions around not this game so much, but the recruiting calendar and the challenges that exist, especially in the month of December, with trying to, figure out how to recruit and keep players on your team and potentially, prevent them from jumping in the portal, but also handle National Signing Day and get ready for a game of this magnitude. And Eli said, next year, it's pretty much going to be impossible to do that while preparing for a 12-team playoff where there's going to be obviously 8 more teams that get into a competitive playoff. And so there certainly needs to be some reform in the offseason here. A few coaches have talked about that at length, probably none more than Chip Kelly, and his name was brought up in this press conference today. But both of these coaches are pretty well aware of the challenges that they're facing this time of year, and that things need to get, a lot smoother moving forward if things are going to continue to build for these two programs that legitimately feel like they've got chances to go out and win national titles. That might sound weird to Ohio State fans if you're thinking about Missouri football, because perhaps Missouri hasn't been a true blue blood, but that's a really, really good team. The Buckeyes are going to play on Friday night, and they are not taking this opportunity lightly. Missouri is terrific, and it's going to certainly be one of the tougher teams they've seen all year long. So, for two coaches that feel like they're trying to build something special and recognizing the challenging climate they're in, they didn't want to dive too deep into their thoughts around it, but essentially alluded to the fact that, gosh, things have got to change because it's going to be pretty much impossible next year if you find yourself in a similar spot where you're trying to make the playoff and having to deal with all the other challenges that come on the calendar. In the meantime, if you want to watch that press conference, it's available for us over on our YouTube channel, over on Buckeyes Now, so you can check it out there. We'll have more coverage for you coming throughout the course of the week, BuckeyesNow.com, and certainly looking forward to game day tomorrow. I'm Brendan Gulick from AT&T Stadium in Arlington. Jerry's World, going to be the home of the Buckeyes tomorrow. Can't wait for that one to kick off tomorrow night. The 88th Cotton Bowl coming your way soon.